Is this thing working? I think this thing's working. Are we live? We're live. What's happening, everybody? Everybody's having a fantastic, whatever day you're watching this. So, is everybody sufficiently recovered from their hangover? I got to tell you something. It's kind of weird that this whole release thing went the way that it did. And unfortunately, a lot of guys, at least by the comments that I was getting, a lot of guys are agreeing with me in a lot of ways. And some guys took issue with some stuff that I said, which is completely understandable. And I get it. And I want to address some of the discourse that had come from some of the comments and along the way discuss kind of my thoughts and my position a little bit more. If you're watching this live, chances are you've seen my reaction videos, and the reaction videos were done kind of quickly. You know, there was some thought. Obviously, one of them I even made a script or try to at least take down some notes. Actually, all of them I did, but one of them I was really trying to stick to, and it was that last one because my level of annoyance was at an all-time high on that third day. But leading up to it, it was so frustrating to sit there and watch what was going on with the live feeds, whichever ones you were watching, to watch the live feeds. You know, I was really surprised that you wouldn't hear more of this kind of value, like from the background, like, what the fuck? You gotta be kidding me. Is that what the shit is this? I'm surprised you didn't hear more of that. I think that people were dumbfounded, like literally just transformed into stupid listening to some of the things that were being said. Now, whether or not you're on board with this whole EV transformation or whatever, you got to admit it was pretty damn disheartening to not have anything come for the naturally aspirated crowd. You know, this platform, the L platform, is what got a lot of guys back into Mopar. And with a lot of guys leaving Mopar back in the day and not having legacy customers, that hurt Dodge as a brand. And so since we're talking about way back stuff, the reality is that the guys that came back to Mopar back in 2008, which is a significant amount of time ago, to be sure, but a lot of those guys you're going to lose them with everything that you're doing. And so you're hoping for legacy. You keep claiming this youngest demographic, youngest buying demographic. Okay. Well, the problem is that your youngest buying demographic is buying V8 powered muscle cars. And to have somebody actually say that, well, you know, those days are over, this is the last V8 powered L car, well, that's going to turn a lot of folks off, and it's going to turn a lot of folks right back over to Ford, which unfortunately may be the trend if we don't have something new coming from Dodge on the NA platforms. So let me explain to you a little bit more what I'm talking about. In 2008, there was no Hellcat. The only thing that you had that was even remotely close to that was the GT500, and that's a car that existed in a vacuum. Ford didn't have to make that thing, but they did. Had no competition. Then comes the 2008 SRT Challenger. And for a lot of guys, this was the rebirth of American muscle. Even though you had the GT500, it was a Challenger nonetheless. And it was a Challenger in form and in function. 6.1 liter V8 making 425 horsepower. You know the history. Well, it was on the back of that platform that you got the 6.4 liter, the 6.2 liter supercharged platform. All of that came from that Genesis. Well, it's been the NA crowd that has been carrying the flag for Mopar for the longest amount of time. It's not just the Hellcat guys, Red Eye, variants, whatever. It doesn't matter. The NA guys got nothing out of this. Mopar's biggest supporters whether it's your Charger, your Challenger, or your Ram, none of those guys were addressed in this release. And save it. I don't want to hear anything about the crap that was on that car carrier. All right. What the hell 6.4 liter thing is going to be released? How many 6.4 liter cars are out there? What are you going to do? How are you going to tart up this 6.4 liter? Is it going to have an aluminum block? Is it going to have, I don't know, higher compression, more horsepower? What is it going to have? What does it mean? Because from where I'm sitting, there's not a whole lot to look forward to. What is it going to be? A different paint color? Are they going to do something? Are they going to? There's nothing that they're going to release, if they're talking about current existing engine family, that anybody is going to be any more interested in than what is out now, save for somebody that just wants something that may be collectible. That's not the point that any of us were looking for, though, or that's not the product, I should say, that anybody was looking for. People were looking for, okay, for the last run of these cars, we're going to have a 426, right? Or we're going to have this 392s going from 485 to 530 horse for a different intake manifold, aluminum block. It's going to be something amazing. And NA crowd got nothing. Ram, I wasn't really expecting anything there, but Ram got nothing. But here's the thing. I kind of was. Let me explain to you why. There's this little contraption floating around out there called the Ford Lightning. And the Ford Lightning is taking the imagination of a lot of folks by storm. Lots of performance, plug-in, electric. Well, I guess it would have to be. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. But you've not only got the Lightning, you've got the Riven, and you've got the Hummer that are all out there in the world. And you say, yeah, but those things are expensive. Doesn't matter. They exist. So where was the STLA Ram or truck platform? Why wasn't it shown when the Banshee was shown? See, the thing is that I understand the why behind the Ram thing, even though I'm tying that in a little bit with the naturally aspirated crowd, but I'm also tying it in with a Banshee because they could have done both. That Wraith looking thing, which I'm not hating on it, it just is what it is. The Dodge Charger Daytona Banshee concept, got to have 5 names for it. At least one has to be a descriptive because they don't even have a final product yet. Is that what it's going to look like? What do you mean a concept, by the way? This thing's got to be live in about a year. Better get your concept moving, bruh. But here's the thing. They were talking about the Dodge Ram EV truck. We were hearing about that before we were hearing about the Lightning. So what gives, Dodge? Lots of mixed messages, lots of confusion. And there's a lot of guys that came away from this, again, with really no more questions than they had before and no more answers. And when I say no more questions, I mentioned that in the other videos. When I say no more questions, what I mean by that is they have still the questions that they had in their head that were not answered. And when I say and no answers, that means that they had no new questions to be answered. They had no thing that was given to them. Their interest was not satisfied. So by saying that these guys are having no more questions and no more answers, they are absolutely alienating these crowds of people that are standing around waiting to see the cars that they have been hearing about, and they're not seeing them. And by the way, listen, every one of y'all that was calling that EV the CUDA, listen, I got so sick of hearing people call that thing, it's the CUDA. It's going to be the CUDA. It's the CUDA. Shut your mouth, man. You don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Everybody was calling it the CUDA. Like, they ain't going to call it the CUDA. It ain't going to be a CUDA. Anyway, your boy called that one. The other thing was, but you know what? I wish they would have, because at least it would have had one name. It would have been the CUDA. All right. Instead of the Dodge, the Charger, the Daytona. Why even mention Daytona? What's the point of is that because of the aero connection? But you already have a Daytona. So why are you tying Daytona to that with the aero? What? Daytona, Banshee. Why even bring the Banshee name into this? Oh, because you want to make a sound that goes row now now. That's another thing. Let me get off on that. Let me get off on the NA stuff. We can circle back around and talk about that. The noisemaker on the Banshee. This is the thing that drove me nuts about this. Anytime you've got a little button that you can press that goes row now now. Sounds like Rodan. Y'all remember back in the day, the Godzilla with the rubber suit and the guy walking around all like a zombie, like he's tripping hard at the rave, right? But you had the Rodan and the Mothra. It sounded stupid. It sounded like some just fake ass sound effects. This is what I was hoping that they would do. They would have listened to Boy Brian. This is what they would have done. If they would have mic'd up and put pickups on the motor, just like an electric guitar. Ask any musician, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Pickups and mic up that motor to where you can actually have the sound of the motor, and you can run that through an auto-tune device, a distortion pedal, whatever you wanted to do, and you can literally tailor the sound of the motor itself, which would have been cool as hell. You'd have speakers instead of an exhaust pipe, which is fine, because all you're doing is amplifying the sound of an electric motor, but it's the actual electric motor that you're amplifying the sound of. Would have been hella cool, and it would have been very unique. You could literally tailor the sound with 3 or 4 different modules to exactly what you wanted it to sound like. But no, instead of doing something cool, innovative, you're marketing with rock and roll music all the time, bunch of tire smoke. Why not incorporate some of that rock and roll technology into your car? Again, pickups, run it through auto-tune, run it through distortion, have it just like the ones that they have for the Teslas where they got the boom tubes they put in the rear of the car. Do the same thing. Turn the switch on, put the volume where you want it, watt the throttle, cruise around, and have your own sound. And it would be a real sound because it would be really miking up the motor. Anyway, nobody got with me on that deal. Watch, Hans, you want to bet somebody's going to come up with that system. But here's the deal. That part of it where they just drove the thing around and then it went back behind and then came back around again. What the hell? I was so confused. I was like, oh shit, they're going to come out with another one. There was going to be another one coming right out behind it. Or the STLA truck is going to come out of the side hatch and we're going to have them both meet nose to nose. You're going to have this 850 horsepower truck and 1,000 horsepower car or whatever. Oh, that's right. They didn't even mention anything about power. Everything that everybody was waiting for didn't happen. What is the thing going to make in terms of power? What kind of performance does it look like? The thing that really bugged me the most and broke my heart about this whole deal is when the Banshee goes out, right? And it disappears. What I was hoping against hope, right, is that it was going to roll right up into Woodward Avenue. I don't know where the concourse is, wherever they were, right out in the middle of something. And they were going to run it against a Plaid or do something like that. This is the Dodge you've been waiting for. This thing gets out, front of the hand, back of the hand, that Plaid, peace out, makes a Plaid its hoe. And then after that comes right back in and everything is rocking at that point. And then it just goes around the back of the place, ring-a-dare-now, making some stupid sound. And then it stops. And then dude starts talking. I'm like, what the hell did I just watch? That was bad. And on top of not being good and confusing at the same time, giving no technical specifications, and by the way, no pricing hints either, leads me to believe it's going to be astronomically expensive. All of that stuff basically left me absolutely just, I felt drunk after that one. I was like, I couldn't even talk about what I just saw because it was like a nothing sandwich. It was talk, show and tell. The thing makes noise, and then nothing to talk about the car. Again, nothing about performance, nothing about pricing. We heard the noisemaker, and then some talking about the making the car feel like it's shifting or something. That's actually really easy to do with an EV, by the way. It's just torque interruption. So throughout all of this, I just thought, I literally was getting worked up and excited for the third day after being disappointed and checked out on the second day, quite frankly. So I guess I had really high hopes for the third day, and that's why I came away from it just absolutely, I don't know. That was the day everything just kind of, I don't know, crashed for me as far as this whole deal was. But let's get back to that first day. What I'm trying to wrap my head around, and I'm really, again, having a difficult time with this, but what I'm trying to wrap my head around is what audience are they going for? Think about that a minute. Remember what we were just talking about? Little history lesson, 2008 Challenger release. You remember that? Okay, that's your core customer, NA guy, hardworking chap or cat that wants to have something cool, fast, lights the tires up, makes you feel good, makes you feel young, whatever. The first thing that they show is a push it yourself chassis roller. What the hell was that? Okay, so you're talking about a whatever thing that, you just, not enough people bought drag packs and didn't want to make any more engines or something? What was that? Build your own race car that you can't even VIN? Hell, I guess it's a roller, so there's that. $90,000. Holy shit. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? The audacity you would have to throw that into the mix. And by the way, I don't know what all comes with this thing, but I can tell you that it ain't coming with an engine, and it ain't coming with a transmission, and it ain't coming with a drive shaft. It ain't coming with electronics, but it's got a cage in it, maybe some spindles, some really nifty brake components. I don't even know, but it's $90,000. Next, so far, I'm not in the middle of this conversation. Next is the body in white. And he's talking about a body in white like that you can get a body in white. Who cares? Oh, this is for the grassroots racer. No, it ain't. No, it's not. It's not for the grassroots racer. The 1320 is for the grassroots racer. The Scat Pack Core is for the grassroots racer. The old Ram RT is for the grassroots racer. No, a body in white and a freaking get out and push freaking whatever roller that is not for the grassroots racer. A $90,000 shell is not a grassroots endeavor. I don't know what kind of fucking idiot, fucking disconnected cunt of a human being thinks that a $90,000 engineless, transmissionless roller is a grassroots thing. Your average dude or chick making 60 grand a year, 50 grand a year, that's doing good to make the payments on their Scat Pack, that's the person that's going to be at the drag strip. Not buy something for 90 grand and then put another 80 or 90 grand into it to put it on a trailer to go racing. Great fucking disconnect, Dodge. I'm starting to really rethink my connection with this brand. Back in the day, it was the working man's brand. Fuck, Al Bundy drove a Dart, for crying out loud. Dodge was the working man's hero type of car. And Dodge is out here doing this. And listen, cool that they're doing it, but don't put it out there on a release. Don't put it out there on a release like, oh my God, look at the favors we're doing for you. The average guy and girl that's into hot rods is going, okay, what's the last V8 thing that's coming out? We want to check this out. Is there going to be a inline six hybrid type of a platform? That would be cool too. Let's hear what you got to say about that. What can we really be looking forward to? No, instead, you chose to throw the first two things out there at what is only can possibly be described as the absolute best, well-heeled grassroots racer that's out there, that's not going to be running a Dodge if they want to be actually winning races. So think about that for a minute, the hubris it must take. And then, if the balls weren't big enough on that Sasquatch, that $200,000 carbon fiber charger? Are you kidding me? Then they're going to talk about, and I said in the video, Super B, but it's a Roadrunner, and the CUDA. $200,000 thing that doesn't run. You've got the first car that you're showing as a thing that doesn't run. The second car that you show as a thing that not only doesn't run, it doesn't roll. The third thing that you show is a thing that costs $200,000 and it doesn't run. It comes with nothing. It's practically a roller and nothing else. How disconnected is Dodge? And then the convertible. Okay, full stop. Convertible ain't muscle car. I get it. AC Cobra. I understand. A lot of muscle cars had drop top varieties. I understand that. But this is not a Dodge made creation, just like the carbon fiber thing wasn't either. This wasn't a Dodge made creation. This is we will take your $55,000 or $45,000 car and you can spend 30 grand or whatever and have an $85,000 convertible thing. Who the hell is asking for that? Who is asking for a $30,000 conversion in this? The Hellcat Durango, I can't imagine if I had bought a Hellcat Durango because it was a one-year car only to have the thing show up, how pissed I would be. But that's beside the point. Then you had to say, we're going to release this other thing at SEMA. We came here for releases, all right? Tim, we all of us showed up for releases, not say, and this other thing with One Fast 29, that's a cryptic thing. By the time it was all said and done, I was in such a meltdown mode that I still don't have the energy to try to figure out what stupid, sideways, cross-winded freaking tie One Fast 29 has to anything Mopar related. I'm sick of the games. I'm sick of the stupidity more than anything else. But more to the point, I'm sick of the lack of a connection with their actual core buyers from Dodge. This demonstrates a complete disassociation with the core buyers of their cars. Now, with all of that being said, no NA stuff. Number two, where the hell was this 909 that everybody was talking about? Who started that middle finger rumor? Huh? Who started this? Oh, it's coming out 909 horsepower. Is that what that One Fast 29 thing is supposed to be? Oh, it's going to be an E85. It'll be. Then why didn't you talk about it then? If that is going to be the case, why not talk about it then? Is it not through EPA yet? Are you having a hard time with getting an EO for pre-existing technology again? What else is out there that we're going to hear about that's going to be anything less than purely offensive to the people that have been flying your fucking flag for the last, 15 years? Tell me what that is. Give me something to look forward to that's not underneath some stupid looking car cover saying, well, this car is coming out and it's going here, and that car is coming out and it's going there, and it's a special edition. There ain't going to be a damn thing special about any of those cars. The only thing special will be the mentality of whoever it is that is chasing one of those things around. I highly doubt you're going to see any engines that are going to pique your interest. And if you do, I'd love to hear about it. But the balance of this only looks like paint jobs and trim packages, kind of like your jailbreak packages. Absolutely forgettable. And this is the worst way to go out. I still cannot explain to you how utterly offended I was. And I'm not even the guy that, like, listen, I don't even have a girl working that corner. I've got my truck that I absolutely love. I've got my Hellcat, first year release, early release, mind you. First of the breed that I really, really like a lot. So tell me exactly what would motivate me to move away from those things. Well, again, getting back into it, looking to the future. Instead of talking about the Hornet, which should have been released at SEMA, why wasn't the second day, and let's put the first day behind us because that got us lit. The second day, by the way, Tad, thank you very much. Saying I bet 2.9 liter inline six. Maybe that's what I was thinking too, except they're panning it out as a 3 liter. What are they going to come back and say it's really 2.9? Oh, it's 2.94683281827 set hut. We're so funny. We're so creative. Fucking Kaniskas. Fucking shithead. You're probably right, and I don't doubt it. But anyway, why didn't, and speaking of which, instead of the Hornet being released during a muscle car event, which the Hornet ain't, cute car, nice buzz around town car, completely wrong venue. Again, it is akin to having a little kid sit at the grown folks table. And if people are complaining, like, why are you saying something wrong about the Hornet? I had some of that coming through. It's like, bitch, why are you accent? What you're complaining about the language when you let the child sit at the fucking adults table. Know your place. Have that release in a youthful environment. Where they were wasn't that. That second day should have been, this is what the next platform is going to kind of be. You want to talk about concepts? Okay, check this out. Hybrid, 500 horsepower gas motor with a 200 horsepower electric. I know it ain't a V8, but check it out. Inline sixes are cool. 6-cylinder muscle cars. They've been around forever. We can do this. We can make hot rods. This is what we know how to do. This is the next generation. Internal combustion, hauls ass. Look at this thing. Wowzers. And at least we'd have something positive to talk about. But instead, no. We got the Hornet. And the thing is that I'm not exactly hating on the Hornet as much as I am hating on how they released it. That second day should have been for the hardcore enthusiasts. That second day should have been for the guys that have been flying the flag the highest. This is where the crescendo is. This is where the story ends for your V8. This is where we're moving forward from that L platform. And we got nothing for it. So in that, I got to thinking, after the second day with the Hornet release, and there was, again, nothing on V8s, nothing on new platforms, I'm going to say that he said, well, the last of the V8 L platform, maybe there's a new platform that's going to get a V8. Probably is the case, because I just don't see Dodge running completely away from V8s. But bad timing. And if you're going to have a 3-day event where you work and build this thing all the way up and hire an announcer with a voice that's practically untalkable, if you're going to hire that dude and have this whole thing planned out, flying people in, make it a giant media event, social media event, know your audience. Know your audience. And when I say know your audience, I'm not talking about the demographics of the audience. Age, sex, median income, all of that stuff. No. What I'm talking about is know your audience. Know what they've done for you. Know what their actual likes are. Know what they are all about. Don't worry about what sex they are. Don't worry about their age. Don't worry about any of that other stuff. Know that all you got to know is this about the Mopar brand loyalists. 90% of them own 5, 7, or 6 4 cars. The balance of them, couple of percentage points, maybe they're loyal at the 6-cylinder level, but the rest of them are all supercharged. Those are the folks that have been flying the flag the highest. And to absolutely not cater to your core audience is a slap in the face and a kick in the nuts and a punch in the tits to every hardcore Mopar enthusiast that's out there that actually was looking forward to and had an emotional stake into what message was going to be announced during that 3-day event. To alienate that core base is to, in effect, moving forward, push them right back into the arms, in many cases, right back into the arms of Ford. Don't be surprised when Ford is the only one left out there with a serviceable, useful V8. And don't forget Dodge. The last batch of customers, or I should say the first batch of customers that got everything kicked off and running were primarily guys coming from Fords. Chevy guys typically don't make the crossover to Mopar. But a lot of the existing Ford guys were Ford guys and Ford gals because Dodge didn't have anything to offer. Dodge came up with something cool. They went for it. And here we sit watching this whole circus unfold without ever a nod to those folks. And I don't mean lip service either. When Kaniskis is up there talking about, well, we see the tuners and we see the this and we see. No, you don't. No, you don't. You do not, sir. And I'll tell you how much you don't see them. You don't see them in the fact that you don't support them when your shit breaks or something isn't going exactly right and you void a warranty because somebody put drag radials on the back of their car, or you void a warranty because they've got a cold air kit, or that it's tuned, for crying out loud. Now, maybe the tuning thing I can understand, but consumable parts, I don't think so. So you're not supporting those crowds. You say, well, we have direct connection. Not for naturally aspirated, you don't, and not for boosted stuff either. Let's not get it twisted. Y'all haven't had anything actually pass an EO yet. The only thing that you can sell out of direct connection are drive shafts, zero camber knuckles, and a couple of bits and pieces. That's it. You're not selling power. You're not selling performance at all. You might be selling durability to existing Hellcat owners, but you're doing nothing. And you haven't done anything for your core audience, your core supporters. Brotherhood, my ass. I'll tell you what, if that's family, how do I freaking get out of Christmas on this deal? I ain't going to see my ass on Thanksgiving. Brotherhood. Kind of funny how that worked out, isn't it? Forgot where you came from. See, the thing about family, brotherhood, is that brotherhood reminds you of your roots. Brotherhood reminds you of your origins. Your brother will reel you in when you're doing some dumb ass shit. Now, sometimes your brother will jump in and help you out. But for the most part, your bro keeps your ass from doing the dumb shit. It seems to me like Dodge, this brotherhood, is a whole lot more like yes men. Oh, yeah, we're bro. What up, fam? Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Good idea, bro. Oh, yeah, let me just keep collecting that check. Let me keep having some of that feel good. This ain't a brotherhood. It's anything but. You need to check yourself. And for anybody that would say, well, I'm coming down too hard on Dodge and I'm coming down too hard on Kaniskus or whatever, I'm coming down to whatever. No. This is real talk, tough love. I am brand loyal, but I have a whole lot more sensitivity to the racing community on the entry level, that real grassroots level. A hell of a lot more than what you see out of these guys over there playing grab ass at every big time race event. When's the last time you saw any of these assholes actually show up on a Friday night street night? Ever? Do they ever get out there and talk to these guys? Ever? I mean, I keep hearing brotherhood of muscle and all the marketing and all the spinning around and the tire smoke and the and all this. Ain't once ever stood foot at Houston Raceway Park on a Friday night to watch their products get down the track, to get an understanding of what the people were really doing with their cars. Now, you got a team of, I don't know, interns going social media to social media to social media because that's all you know. You don't know how to do analog. You don't know how to do real talk. All you've been doing is selling shit your entire life. So you get out here and say, oh, this sounds like a great idea. That sounds like a great idea. Talking about cars or contrivances that have absolutely nothing to do with the real core customer. It was obvious. It was the lack of connection. I will not call it hubris and I'll not call it arrogance because this is a core disassociation. Was on full display over those 3 days. And then to sit there and watch these guys laughing, look at us, we're so smart and good. Wow, we just did a thing. No, not at all. The message was wholeheartedly lost on not only myself, but quite a few folks that I had talked to that put messages in on the different reaction videos. The disconnect was not only noticed, but it was taken to heart and it was taken personally. And that is the biggest difference. See, this is the problem with brand loyal people. Brand loyal people, and I'm not even as brand loyal as what some of these folks would be and have proven themselves to be. Brand loyal people get really offended when you don't get it. When you are in the trenches, whatever those trenches are on a corporate level, and you don't get your core customer. So, and then, you know, it strikes me as strange that throughout all of that, you can have the Banshee do a little show and tell thing. And you had the Hornet there, but what about STLA small and medium? What happened to that? You have STLA small, medium, and large platforms. Those are the car platforms. And then you have the STLA truck. Where were they? I mean, we saw the Banshee, but the funny thing about, oh, shit, how did I forget? The 9 different driving modes that you can buy from Direct Connection. What? Are you kidding me with this? You mean to tell me that I'm going to have to purchase, after I've already shelled out how much coin for this car, I'm going to have to, buy cheat codes for this thing? I mean, I get it. It's like a big video game, but what kind of cheat code? Drift mode? Yeah, bad, but drift mode? Okay, whatever with that. Drag mode. But What kind of modes you got? How many? 9 different driving modes. Do I have to buy them? Can I buy them as part of the car? How does this work? I mean, I get it. Explaining this during a release is difficult, except the Banshee was the shortest release of them all. Do you notice that? Spent forever talking about shit that nobody's going to buy on the first day. And then the Hornet, and then turn around and have, well, this quick show and tell on the Banshee. You couldn't go into detail the way you went into detail on all the rest of the crap you had on the first day and say, yeah, check this out. The drive modes individually priced, but here's how it's going to work. Car's going to cost, and then this drive mode, and that drive mode you get as a package, and then that drive mode you get as a package. And all you're doing is unreleasing or inputting or whatever software into the car. Okay. But nothing like that. Absolute crickets. And I got to tell you guys, the more I thought about it, the more frustrated that I got about it, because that's the one car that everybody was waiting for. Here comes the CUDA. Here comes the Charger. Here comes the whatever they're going to call it, right? We got the least amount of information on a car that probably is going to cost $100,000 at this stage of the game. We got no information. And here's the other thing. It could have been, oh yeah, we're going to have this thing. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have drive modes, but listen, all-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, 500 horse for rear wheel, 1,000 horsepower for all-wheel. This thing's going to be awesome. You can build your own. It's going to be amazing. The sky's the limit. But nothing like that. Anyway, OC, thank you very much, but I appreciate it. Saying Dodge was dead the second Stellantis bought it. They're based in Amsterdam, where the main transportation is bicycles. They clearly don't like American muscle and want Dodge to just sell cheap junk. Well, maybe, but the problem is that those EVs aren't going to be cheap. They might be junk, but it ain't going to be cheap. And more to that point, the way that it's looking anyway is, maybe we will have. See, the thing, okay, so let's rewind it real quick. One of the things that was talked about back in, 2018? Got to remember, the L platform was supposed to go away or be revised in 2018 or 2019. And the idea was that they were going to lighten up the L platform, and it was still going to have the 6.4 and the 5.7, but it was going to be a lighter platform by a couple of 100 pounds, and they were going to try to get this thing out into the world. Well, what happened with that? What ended up happening with that plan? And, well, then nothing, because labor things were done at Brampton, and they kept pushing back the kill date for this thing. Well, the thing is that there's no revised platform coming. And since there's no revised platform coming, I can only surmise that, this L platform could go away. But, he said the last V8 L platform, L car, maybe there'll be something else. I don't know. Again, like I said, I'm having a real difficult time believing that Dodge would absolutely drop the V8 altogether for cars. It just doesn't fit their marketing. But I'll tell you this, if what Dodge decides to come out with is nothing but EVs, and they don't start talking about some kind of hybrid hot rod and inline six and the shit that they should have been talking about when they were talking about the Hornet, when they should have been talking about, look, here's the Hurricane. It's a 400 horsepower or 500, whichever one they pick. This thing is nasty. It's going to have this hybrid platform. You got to remember, ZF does have the 9-speed, I think it's a 9-speed hybrid equipped transmission. And I think that one is like 150 or 200 horsepower, or at least 150, 200 pound-feet of torque, electric motor, like a true hybrid. That would actually be not bad at all, because it would actually solve two problems that you would have with that inline six. the first thing that it would do is it would pull load out of that inline six with that electric motor. In effect, the electric motor would make the engine see less actual mechanical load. It's going to go fast, but the idea is that it's the equivalent of pulling weight out of the car with that electric motor. Even though it weighs more, the drive effect would look to the engine like the car weighs less. Anyway, there's that kind of a sideshow benefit to it. But the main thing is that it would keep everybody kind of in the mix. It's an inline six, which you can make sound amazing. And it would have a lot of power and it would do a lot of really cool things. And I'm just absolutely beside myself with the fact that they didn't release a car that had that type of impact. That would have been the show to do it, instead of bringing out the Hornet. It's almost like the Hornet had to be there. Like, listen, we have to work the Hornet in. Why do we have to work the Hornet in? Why can't we release the Hornet at SEMA? I can already hear, like, the thing is that nobody had the balls to go, hey, no. You need to know the history of this thing. We're not doing kiddie cars. I hate to call it that, but that's what it is. They're going after a youth market. And I mean young in this case, based on the price points. We don't need to put those city zippy cars in this environment. That needs to be SEMA. That's the new stuff. That's the up and coming neat stuff. This is a muscle car crowd. Give them muscle car stuff, right? Anyway, Clay's saying Lee Iacocca is better than the current people. Well, in a way, I mean, Lee Iacocca did give us the K car, and that K car evolved into the ES platform, and evolved into the Daytona back then, and the Dodge 600. You had the Sprint, which would be an eventual evolvement of all of that. So yeah, I mean, at least he knew how to introduce something that'll make money, but definitely, I don't know, definitely doesn't get, or the current administration definitely didn't get what some of the hardcore guys were looking for. Their flag bearers, the ones that okay, here's the thing. You really want to, as a brand, you don't want to piss off the people that are actually the ones that do the shit that you put in ads. Like, man, we're going to show something crazy. We're going to show these guys sliding around corners, tire smoking. It's going to be crazy. And we're like, that's like Tuesday evening for us. We do that shit. We do what you're showing. Like, closed course, professional driver. Yeah, okay. It makes me a professional driver then. But no, that's what we do with these things. It is. This is not a cartoonization, if that's even a word. It's a real thing. So for guys that are out there that are really flying the flag high, those are the ones that you pissed off the most. And those are the ones that you've been marketing to, or at least, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Those are the ones that you've been using for your marketing. See, that's something else that nobody's really touched upon, is that you're showing the drag racer, right? That's your 1%er, your 5%er type of a customer. You're showing the drag racer. You're showing the performance enthusiast, the true driver, performance enthusiast, the person that's going to take their car to a drag strip. And you can say, well, they came out with Demon and they did. Yeah. And a lot of people, I think there's still a class action lawsuit about that, where they didn't quite understand that a 965 and negative 3,000 DA is going to be questioned when you're buying a car that's supposed to go 960s. So the main takeaway for me for all of this, and by the way, quick apology, guys. Normally I'm answering questions and chatting, but this is a little bit different kind of show. So, I'm probably not going to be taking a ton of questions. I'll try to get to you guys, like I say, Tad, OC, thank you very much. Clay, appreciate the contributions. Guys, the main things I wanted to get across was, now that the hangover's over, now that the message is out there, and now that you've seen where Dodge is, do you feel the same way? Like, do you see it from the same point of view that I do, or are you seeing it from a completely different angle, which I can completely respect? You can say, okay, well, the roller is really for this, and body in white and all this other. But the problem is that there's not an argument, because I've actually internalized this. I have tried to wrap my head around an argument that would absolutely make sense. And I can't. I just can't, because I'm too anchored to what I would consider to be the true grassroots representation of the Dodge enthusiast. And part of that is my fault. I spend a lot of time at the drag strip, especially last year. I spent a lot of time at the drag strip, a lot of time supporting my local drag strip, so much so that I was invited to run at the Spring Nationals. And because I'm supportive of the sport that Dodge is actually really good at, and that's drag racing, the stock product, not crazy modified stuff, but it's because I'm so tied to that group that I hear their frustration. But business is business, and progress must progress. But you don't have to be 100% disassociated with your fan base as the progress progresses with your offerings of products. Look, I'm not surprised, because a roller doesn't have to be EPA registered. There is no executive order for a race car. The body in white, never going to be VINed, is supposed to be a race car. Okay. The rest of the stuff, I have no idea. But the point of all of this is, Dodge, it's been great. And it's going to keep being great. I'm not going anywhere. And when I say I'm not going anywhere, I also mean that I am not going to progress with you. I'll be more than happy to watch from the sidelines and see how the new products evolve. If there's something that really piques my interest, I may be a buyer at it. But as it sits now, I'm not so sure that I can say that I will be ready and waiting for the next product to drop. It's going to take something cool. It's going to take something a little bit more grounded, a little bit more, well, let's just call it closer to earth, for myself and for a lot of people like me to actually be part of the recidivism that you need so desperately to keep your brand afloat. Because if we don't come back to Dodge, that means we're going somewhere else. And that 4-letter word's waiting on us with open arms. So I'm going to catch up with you guys, and then I will wrap it up. The first thing I see, a freaking porn bot, man. Come on. Oh, my God. That's pretty funny. Let me get these out of here real quick. Swear. Mods, do your thing with that, will you? Good night. How many did we get? Oh, it's not bad. We only got a little bit. Him and Dad saying it's fun while it lasted. Oh, goodness. Chuck saying new versions of the Duster and Super Bee would be nice. Yep. But with that, guys, I know this live chat's a little bit one-sided. Next one, I'll be taking a lot of y'all's comments, but I just want to leave you guys with this. I am coming into this tirade with nothing but love for the brand of Dodge, Mopar, all of it. I'm a big fan of the history, big fan of the brand, big fan of the folks that are associated with it, and a big fan of all my brothers and sisters out there that I race with, race against, and that are all in this and love it as much as I do. Do not mistake my passion for all of this with a sense of negativity. It is only with a passion and a drive for this, but more to the point, a tie-in and an understanding of the grassroots racer, of the folks that are toiling, working overtime, that are taking second gigs and busting their ass, making sacrifices to have the cars that they have. Those are the folks that I relate to the most. And when those are the ones that are saying that, look, this has gotten way too rich for my blood, it's not worth the sacrifice, it's not worth the staying up late, it's not worth eating ramens and beanie weenies anymore for. When those guys start to check out, that's when you start to see the lack of people staying within the brand. And there's a lot of folks out there that are going that direction, and it pains me to see it, because I remember being young. I remember not having the means to have stuff like this. And it's more and more difficult for folks to not be able to feel, or to feel like they're not going to be included when the progress progresses. That's why I'm so upset. And that's why I'm so not really trying to champion the cause or trying to white knight for anybody, but that's why it got underneath my skin so much, is that we've got all these unobtainiumly expensive cars being shown to us, but nothing to really whet our appetite for the folks that are the true, actual grassroots racers and supporters, which is probably more the phrase I should, or the term I should have used, supporters of the brand. Roy's saying, I don't care what they show me, don't want SUV or EV, price too high for fun. Absolutely. I mean, all of it's way too expensive. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll catch you guys on the normally scheduled Tuesday show. But I wanted to share with you guys a little bit of me coming out of the fog of that hangover of the 3-day release. Post up your comments. Let me know what you think. I will catch all of y'all on the next one. Thank you guys for all the support, and we will see you then. And that's a wrap. Adios.